All right, guys. So I'm back with another video. Um, we got a lot to talk about, so I will try to divide it into sections that are most important and most relevant to everyone. And first off, I want to get started with fantasy football coming up. Those of you who are in my Dynasty League uh know that we have a draft coming up, and I guess technically it's a rookie draft, but it's the dynasty draft, whatever. It's just whatever we put it. So I have where'd I go? What the hell? Okay, there we go. Okay. So I have a thing for King's Dynasty. So as you know, I'm moving all of my leagues to Yahoo. I really feel like Yahoo would just it's just having it on one app is easier, but I don't think let me check real quick because I don't know if Yahoo has fantasy football open yet. So, but ESPN apparently does, I think. I haven't even looked at it yet. Let me check. Fantasy football, it doesn't look like fantasy football is just so damn slow. Yeah, it doesn't look like you can make a league yet in fantasy football, so I can't do the dynasty stuff. I can't do anything. But what I can do is completely reactivate the league. And here, so what we can do now is pick up all our players and uh I guess I can't really schedule a draft yet because let me see if I could find my I guess it would be league settings. You should be able to pick up players. Yeah, nine. Okay, nine players. So I should be able to pick up players now, right? Wednesday. Wait. Mm. Oh, they have my players for me. Okay. Oh, that's right. I had to pick up players last year because the league was deleted. That's why. Okay. So our team is all together now. I've reactivated the league and yeah, I mean, you guys should be able to make moves and then make sure you guys are able to make your moves. Um you should be able to trade draft picks. I do have all the draft picks that have been traded this past year, so I will get that done soon. I think it's league settings where I can turn draft pick trading on. Weekly view, probably. Sorry, I mean I'm gonna have to do this so y'all see what I'm doing. Where is the draft pick trading? Ah, it's right in front of my face. Basic setting. That's weird because I should be able to turn an option. Let me just trade with someone. Let's trade. Let's send a little trade to my boy Brad. He doesn't have a. I can't trade. Okay. Why am I not able to trade draft picks? What the hell is going on here? That's weird. Okay, whatever. So the league is now open, so you guys should be able to make your moves soon. I will get the. Let me see if I can view my picks. Yeah, it still says I have the draft picks because we all the draft pick trades were made when we couldn't move draft picks. Okay, I'll see if I could fix that. So that is for King's Dynasty, Dynasty Royale. Let's look over the standings real quick because man, this league I didn't imagine this league falling off so hard. So I would say we had about one, like I bet all these teams were inactive except for maybe the top five teams. So, that if I had known that there was only going to be five teams active for this season, I would have definitely gotten rid. I would have closed this league off last year. Um, It is really disappointing because I really was looking forward to continuing on with this league. And as an activity, I had to start replacing more people, and I was just like, I can't do this anymore. I have to like some teams didn't even like once make a move. These two guys, thanks to this guy who brought these two guys in, that was ridiculous. I don't know why I thought he would hook me up with some shit. But yeah, so I think I mean I don't know what I would do with fantasy basketball right now. It's really like I feel like that's the one sport that's really in question is because after this year, it's really hard to find active people who are active throughout the whole entire season. And you know, this showing like seeing this, it's ridiculous. I mean, only I would say one, two, three teams were really active in this league, and you know, obviously my team fucking gave out because of injuries. But yeah, congratulations to Dylan. Dylan finally got himself a chip. A chip. Um, Proud of him. He's been in my leagues for a very long time. He hasn't really done much with them, but he's finally got a little chip on his shoulder now. So now, since we're moving all our leagues to Yahoo, you have a little trophy next to his name or in his profile to show that he's won a league. Um, but yeah, so obviously I've said this before. This league will be deleted, and I might make a new um I might make a new Dynasty League. That is also up in the question. I'll have to see how many people I get and how many people are active. Why is this here? Why is that there? Um, I think I will happily adjust to that. Okay. Um, Anything else? Thanks for a good season in Dynasty Royale, I believe. If I do decide to come back to this league and with new people who are active, and I know that they will be active, I will let everyone know. Obviously, Dylan, Jack, I feel like Lucas maybe. I feel like I don't know, he's kind of shaking fantasy basketball what I've seen. So I feel like Lucas and Jack or Dylan and Jack are easily my top bringbacks. And I feel like Quinn's Tempo, my boy PJ, he would be a good guy to bring back. Yeah. So I feel like yeah, I feel like he would be a good guy to bring back since he was active for majority of the season. But right now I'm not really looking forward to keeping up with this league or keeping up with fantasy basketball itself. I mean, I don't know. I'll explain later on that. So enough with that league. All right. So Big Baller League, um, there was some history set on uh this league. Um, where is the wins? Head to head, I guess. Head to head, yeah. So the most wins of all time was 19 straight wins. Oh, I guess they only recorded, but matchup victories of all time, 21 straight victories. Me, man. I don't know if I've ever done that in my life before. I don't think I've ever gone undefeated in the regular season. And, you know, obviously my team fell apart towards the end. I feel like if I had a fully healthy team, I would still be unstoppable, even without Randall or even without Aiden, Durant, LeBron, Kuzma, and Rozier. I think I lost someone else. I lost DeRozan for a game. Um, my pickups were shit. If I never dropped Derek White for THT, man, I would have won easily because Derek White went off this week, and I thought, oh, fucking Taylor Horn Tucker would do better. That's ridiculous. So I think I messed up there. I feel like the trade, looking back at the trading Tyrese Maxey and Kevin Porter Jr. for DeAndre Ayton and Jordan Poole. I feel like that could be a trade I could regret, but I feel like at that time I needed two more solid role players, and Tyrese Maxey was struggling at the time, and Kevin Porter Jr. was out for most of the season. He did come back at a most crucial part of time. and I probably should have kept him and traded maybe Rozier or someone else. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I should have never gotten Poole. Maybe I don't know. Poole was also a very good part in the first place. He was an important part throughout the season when Curry was hurt. But yeah, I mean, I took care of business. The so playoffs were set a little different. They were set a week before compared to last year. So the season ended so the last year the season would have ended this week. This year it ended last week. So um I'm just looking at it now, my team dominated even without LeBron and KD and some of Kuzma. And I think I don't know who else could, top that without their two top role players or top two draft picks. Brad had his whole team basically for the whole season and he went 14-5. I mean, I was out without my top two draft picks for most of the season, uh, key important role players, and I still was able to beat every single person. Um, Obviously here there was you could argue I mean the guy that was originally that Lucas took over was probably kind of he told me he was going to be active. He told me that everything was he knew what he was doing, he knows basketball, so I thought he would do it. And then Vanille, I feel like he was active at first and then he stopped being active because he had other stuff to do. I don't know what he was doing. It's like school stuff, but I don't know. Jack, I mean, this was obviously the year where Jack just completely fell off with fantasy basketball. I mean, his team was truly I mean, okay, I guess it's kind of obvious. I mean, like his team was just injury riddled. Beal, Middleton, Jokic was surprisingly injury riddled. Murray, Russell, Nurkic, Shea, and Zion. Booker was out for a decent amount of time, but he came back in important time, but Jack wasn't able to use him because he wasn't in the playoffs. Um, so yeah, that I mean, I think I said this in the draft recap. Like his team would be trouble. It would be hard for Jack to keep up with because of how bad his team will be with injuries, and you know the record shows it. Um, Kyle, I feel like he had an off year this year. I mean, of course, he was dealing with. I feel like he dealt with the most injuries compared to everyone else, compared to Jack. Kyle had Curry out, Halliburton out, AD out, Paul out for a decent amount, Allen out. Bane was out at the beginning part of the season. Like he had all his stars out, man, and it was tough. And I think OG was out for a decent amount of time too, like before the All-Star break. And yeah, I mean and Vassell was out for most of the season as well. So I think he had the most injuries in the league. Jack probably had second. I probably had third. And then I don't know who would be fourth. I don't know. I wasn't keeping track of too many people. All I know is I scout everyone. Eddie did draft the best player of the season, Luka Doncic. I think he was good until all his injuries happened, but I don't know what Brad's gonna be doing next year. I don't know if I'm gonna be doing fantasy basketball next year because I'm just so tired of losing because of injuries. You know, I don't know if I need to change my whole draft style. I don't know if I needed to just say fuck it and not care as much as I did last year or this year. Maybe I should just I don't know. I mean, in second place. A lot of people said that I wouldn't even make the championship. Everyone thought I was beatable. Um, and it showed with my draft strategy that it was worth it. And especially grabbing Kuzma, Westbrook, Randall so late in the draft. If I had gotten Lauri Markkanen instead of Kevin Porter Jr. and get Kevin Porter Jr. with my next pick, I would probably dominate the whole entire league. I was very high on Markkanen. I feel like that's the reason why Brad was so good was Markkanen and Tatum and Edwards. And then Van Vliet went off in the very last game, and that's what costed me the game, the whole championship. Apparently, I didn't even know I was that close until um everyone else. So yeah, Van Vliet and Jaren Jackson Jr. If I had drafted Jaren Jackson Jr. instead of Lonzo Ball with the last pick, I would have probably like I definitely would have ran that whole entire league, man. I was probably one player away, which would have been Kevin Durant if he played. So I was definitely one player. I was probably like a waiver player away from winning it all. I mean, Brad had injuries, but I mean, they were bound to happen. I mean, Fox, I guess, needed some rest. Edwards, I mean, ankle problem. I mean, I was dealing with ankle problems all the time. I had fucking LeBron and KD. I was dealing with ankle problems all the time. And then Tatum, I guess, sat against a team that was tanking. So I guess he was bound to sit at some point. You know, Embiid's complaining about being fatigued. He sat out today. And I mean, yeah, That's I do understand that injuries are part of losing, but it takes into a toll of like there's a limit of how many injuries you could have per week. And I feel like I really excelled that. I mean, Brad had some players that didn't play all this week too, with Gary Trent Jr. and Anthony Edwards, but that doesn't really compare to LeBron, Kuzma, Durant, Ayton. I mean, I had four players, okay, three players, but one player no, four players, but one player out of those four played the last game and he wasn't really ready to play, honestly. I don't even know how he did play. Who didn't play at all this week. I don't think. So Brad had two. And then Markkinen, I mean, he was able to come back. If Markkinen didn't play that one game, I would have won. So Markkinen, you can't really say Markkinen got benched because if everyone was healthy on my team, everyone was healthy on Brad's team, I probably would have won. So, because my whole strategy changed when Kuzma was out and then Aiden was out. I mean that my whole like thing, I had my whole waiver pickups plan. I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this guy whenever Randall doesn't play. I was originally gonna drop Julius Randall instead of some other guy. I dropped so instead of me dropping Kuzma there because he would have played that day, I would have dropped Julius Randall and had Kuzma that either the day after this one, and then on Sunday I would have Kuzma. And then Rozier, obviously. I would probably never draft Hornets players again because Hornets, oh my God. He had Oubre too. So yeah, me and Brad were even on that. I had Rozier, he had Oubre, and there were some strange things going on with I think it was either on Thursday or Friday. Brad, like, there's gotta be a way around that because the betting props for Rozier were not up at 2 p.m. That's about 4 hours before the game started. Everyone was questioning, like, is there an injury to report? Was there anything going on with Rozier? And there was nothing. Underdog said nothing that I mean they don't know anything about it. And um the game starts and Rozier is starting. And then I think within the first quarter, Rozier comes out with an injury. And if that doesn't like if that doesn't say tanking, like what else does? And then Oubre came out, I think, a little bit after as well. So and they both missed the games. So I will never, ever, ever draft Hornets players again because that is ridiculous what that happened that year or that day. And I really hope the NBA does something about tanking because um I mean, it may not be as big next year because I don't know who the draft prospects are compared to Victor this year. But I mean, obviously Victor might be the number one pick next year. I mean, it could be Victor, Luka, or Jokic. I mean, it'd be up there. And you can honestly argue Embiid. You can argue who else has been pretty damn dominant? I don't know. I can't remember. AD. I mean, AD, a healthy AD, man, he gets you 60 points a night. But like I said, this would be a lengthy video, so I'm gonna be talking a lot. Um, yeah, I mean, if the NBA doesn't do anything about that tanking thing, I probably will not do fantasy basketball next year. Because like it's ridiculous what they did with my team. Um, what was it? Oh, I was about to say something. Oh, so okay, here's an idea I had. I should have looked at it more before I put up this league. So I have like I called it the psychological draft process or a draft assignment. So where's the draft area? So I have an idea on instead of doing a draft lottery, I would do like a psychological process and reasoning on why each person is assigned the draft pick that they get. And I'm gonna do an example. So Jack had a first pick in the last four draft uh drafts I've had. And each time he's gotten the number one pick, he's either been um at the top, eliminated in the first round, or he doesn't make playoffs. So I can't remember too much about it. I think Jack had the first pick last big baller league. He had the first pick in the baseball league. He had the first pick in this best big baller league, and I think he had the first pick in the football league. I think if I'm correct. And then so I'm thinking, Jack, you get the first pick in every draft. Psychologically, let's see if you benefit more in the last pick. So I would give Jack the last pick and see how he would do with the bottom part of the draft. And that's just how I do it. I would so on. I'll give out reasoning. For me, I have yet to have the number one pick, and I feel like it's difficult for Jack to, find the exact draft to dominate the number one pick. I mean, the number one pick I believe should be the best person. Like you should have the best draft and the best season. And Jack clearly did not have the best season. I had the best season with the bottom picks. Me and Brad had the best season with the bottom picks. I want to see if Jack can do better. I think he did actually win one year with the number 10 pick. So psychologically, I would still assign the number 10 pick. I would give me the number one pick. And then I mean, for Brad, I mean, I think for my leagues, Brad has always had a late pick. He's always had a late pick. I can't remember. I hope Brad looks at this part of the video because I think Brad's always drafted at the bottom, like three picks. So I would obviously give Brad either the second pick or if I could think of another person that would belong in the number two spot, I would give him that pick. Um, but yeah, I have a psychological reasoning. It also depends on who else joins the league next year. If you're a new person and I don't know you, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do a psychological assignment because I don't know who you are. If there's not enough slots for everyone. So, yeah, that's just a thought. It's just a different thing to do, I guess. And if there is a next year for us, then I mean, I'll look forward to it. I just have to think about it really, really hard because I don't want to. I don't know, dealing with fantasy basketball and being that stressed about all these injuries that I had towards the championship and my team just giving out was kind of ridiculous to me. So I don't know. I mean, I could tell that Jack was losing hope on fantasy basketball because of how many guys sat for him. And I totally understand that because I mean, I had a lot of guys sit out for me too, especially during the championship. So, I really feel like me and him are on the verge of quitting, but I mean, I don't know. We'll see what happens. So that is the end of the season recap for Big Baller League. Congratulations to Brad. Congratulations to Dylan for winning those two leagues. Um, all I can say is, I mean, who knows what's gonna happen next year? I guess it'll all be all on Brad. I'm sure Brad wants to continue next year. He said he'll give another year, but there's only. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. Um, all right. So on to the part that everyone's been aching the aching to do for me to do honestly is uh welcome to the show's uh draft recap. So going back to last year. Last year I had a dynasty league in this league. I had 16 teams. There is I think at least ones. I mean there was probably like nine teams from last year that are in this league. And um throughout the whole season, it was very competitive. There was a lot of teams active. I was really happy that mainly everyone except for like maybe three teams who were at the bottom who weren't that competitive. But I mean, it was a very competitive league, and I mean, I don't think it'd be. I mean, I don't know. For this year, I have 12 because not everyone was responding to me, and I don't like that. So if you're not responding to me, I'm not gonna put you in this league. So I have 12 teams. I believe everyone knows what they're doing, I'm hope. So I mean there's Brad and Jack in this league. They don't know anything. They don't know a lot about baseball. So they're giving this I feel like this is like their experiment year, but I feel like they're gonna do their best and they're gonna be active. That's what I really hope for. And I feel like Jack and Brad would like it a lot better because for basketball, if you sit out, you can't really replace anyone. For baseball, if you have the certain backup or another player on the team, you can just replace that player easily. That's what's better with baseball. But the thing is that you gotta hope that the times for baseball are are like neither later or whatever. So because if a player on the Yankees, let's see if Gleyber Torres, let's say he doesn't start at second base, but you have Anthony Volpe. Now, if he's at the utility spot, you can just sub it in, or you have okay, I didn't mean to say that. Well, if you do have Volpe and Torres doesn't play, you can just sub it in before the get time period. But if you have someone at a later time, you can just sub them easily. So that's the thing about fantasy baseball is you always have a backup. Usually, it depends if the player is healthy or playing. So that's the better part about fantasy baseball. Um, and it's a very long season. So I mean, you guys gotta be prepared for that. There is 25 weeks, and don't know if that's 25 weeks of regular season or playoffs. Yeah, okay. 25 weeks of regular season and playoffs. So it's a long season. I mean, I think it's 4 or 5 weeks longer than fantasy basketball and like 8 weeks longer than fantasy football. So yeah, it's a long season. So I'm just letting y'all know. Okay, so the draft I feel like went pretty well. There was some auto drafts. There was a couple guys who auto drafted. I mean, it was what? Oh my Lord. Man, it made me even like more mad as my computer didn't work during the draft. So I didn't have my computer. And I had the draft on my iPad, so I wasn't able to see the projections and see like how they did last year. I had to like physically click on every person. And when you're on your iPad, you can't see everything compared to what's on your computer. So I couldn't draft well. So I fucked up on round 3 and drafted fucking Bryce Harper. I will forever ever be haunted by it because I could easily have gone Bryce Harper in like round like 10. I probably would have gone Bryce Harper around 10 or like around 11. And then I probably would have gone Fernando Tatis. I think I would have gone Fernando Tatis. Because I was looking at it, I was like, should I get him? Because I saw he was struggling. Like, I don't want to like get him. So I had Bryce Harper like in the queue, and the guy at the top of the queue, if you don't draft in time, they take that person. And I think I can't remember who, but I had someone's name and I clicked draft. It was at 0 seconds and it didn't work. And I got Bryce Harper instead. And I was so mad. Obviously, I didn't want to do anything like, I'd be kind of like, I guess cheating, but it was very unfair. And it happened, I think it happened to a couple people that people said, but I mean, it could have been worse than Bryce Harper, honestly. So, I mean, he is supposed to play at least June or July. So I would get him in like a crucial part of the season, but I didn't want him that early. So let's get off. I've been taking my time with this video. Why is my computer okay? I've been busy. I feel like I haven't had the time to, make this video. So we're gonna go off by draft order. So we're gonna go with Jack's team first. As my computer slowly starts to just get worn out. So one thing I liked about Jack's draft is, he didn't really give a fuck about pitching. I really said in my draft lottery thing and like in the group chat, um, pitchers I feel like aren't as crucial compared to hitters because hitters play every day, almost every day. Pitchers, they play every 5 days, but they do get a lot of points. So, I mean, I guess there's a way that pitchers can be very, very good, but I feel like hitters are way better. And in the draft, we saw pitchers went way later compared to hitters. Okay. So Jack is very weak on pitchers. you probably can release Frankie Montez. He's probably not going to pitch this year, Jack. Um, let's see. Eduardo Rodriguez, he never stays healthy. I would be surprised if he plays this whole season. Oh, but he is the opening day starter, so I guess he'll get you some points in the first day. Um, so yeah, I feel like pitching is definitely your weak spot. You don't have an ace. Even though Eduardo Rodriguez is the opening day starter, he's not exactly an ace, but I mean, I don't know. I just don't think he'll do much for you in fantasy compared to some other guys that I know. Um, I mean, I feel like you could really help your team out with Tyler Anderson, Herman Marquez. Uh, they're pretty good. Mitch Keller, I think, is up and coming. He was pretty good last year, but and then Chris Brissett was pretty good. But I feel like pitching is still pretty weak because it's always a question with Merrill Kelly and Adam Wainwright, who's on his last leg, and Frankie Montes doesn't play anymore, or isn't playing this year probably, so he won't be used for you. But your hitting is very good. I mean, um, literally all through like here to here or here, like these are all solid hitters. I mean, these guys make contact, they get the ball in play, they hit home runs, they do everything that you need for fantasy. So if you could probably trade one of these guys and get you a solid pitcher, you could definitely be in a championship running. I mean, this is a really good team. It just depends on if these guys stay healthy because you never know. And for the non-available spots, I really feel like, or not active spots, I probably should add non-active spots since some guys who drafted people got sit down. And yeah, I mean, I guess I could probably add some. I'll probably add like maybe three because no one should be going after a bunch of prospects since there's only a certain amount of bench spots. I feel like I'm gonna keep the bench spots at six. Um, I just feel like there's not a need for a lot of bench spots, but I'll probably add three not active spots. So there you go on that. Just give me a minute after this video, I'll add some. So Jack, I really feel like, oh, I guess I should do the. All right, Jack. So I'll probably give you like a. I mean, considering that the offense is the more important part in the league, I'd probably give you like a B plus. Definitely a B plus, especially for your first baseball draft. You did very well, but I feel like you just drafted guys who had a high projection. But I mean, they're damn good guys. Bollywood Jr. and Nolan Arenado are very good guys, and you got those guys like third or fourth round. I think. Because I think you went Trey Turner, and then you went. Who else did you go to? Maybe it was Arenado for second round. Because I wanted Arenado like the second round too, but obviously I didn't get him. But yeah, it was a really good draft. Good job. I'll just go on in this order. I don't really care about draft order. All right, Dylan. Let's look at your team. I really feel like you got a nice team. You got Betts and then Trout. So I feel like Trout, his ADP is just gone so down because of how bad he's been with playing. Um, I think he played a good amount of games last year. That's why he was able to get above 2,000 points. But I mean, I almost drafted Trout too, but man, I can't. I get like a fear of just injury riddled players, and he is just bound to be injured. But Betts is a good pick. I like Olson. I like Simeon. You got him in the third round. I remember you going late with pitchers as well. I think you had one, but you got two aces. I think these guys are both opening day starters. Yeah, these guys are both opening day starters. Is he an opening day starter too? I think he's an opening day starter too. Who's opening day? Oh, is it Greinke? Can't remember who's the opening day starter for the Royals. I thought it was Singer. But yeah, you got some good starters. I feel like it get you by. Um, I feel like there's some risks in your team with Trout, Bryant. Um, Bregman, I feel like is another guy who could be injured too. I don't know. I don't know. And you get a lot of like guys who probably be. I mean, Santander would probably be traded. I don't know. He's bound to be traded at some point. There's no way they keep him that long because he's gonna be a free agent soon. He's definitely gonna come back to Baltimore. Tyler Stevenson, I think he was a catcher that came up late last year, so his fantasy points didn't show it. But he is a very good catcher. Like he hit almost 500, and that is ridiculously crazy. So yeah, he's a good offensive catcher. I feel like he'll have a great year this year. Matt Olson, I mean, these guys are good. I mean, you got good offensive players and they're good fantasy players. So you're going every. I think you're good in every position. Um, your bench, I don't know. I mean, I feel like. I mean, these guys. I think you could definitely. I mean, obviously you got Josh Donaldson, who was, I guess, said rumored to be having a comeback year. Horns and Boone, but I mean, I feel like the benches will hurt you. But I'm not going to grade you on your bench unless you have like ultimate starters. But I think Dylan, you did really good for your draft. Um, Especially with having, I think, shit, what pick did you get? I don't remember what pick you had. Let me check. Six pick, and the sixth pick is like the hardest one to have usually. So yeah, you did good. I'd probably give you, oh, man, Dylan. I'd probably give you like an A minus. Like Jack's team's good, but he didn't have pitching. Actually, but his offense like makes up for it. So I'll give you an A minus. So yeah, okay. Next, Bash Bros. Oh God, what are you doing, guys? Come on. All right, Art one. Okay. So I saw one strategy I feel like was pretty good. You know, he really dived into both sections. Like I think went more into pitching. I mean, he has two Cy Young winners. Did Corbin Burns win a Cy Young? I think he won a Cy Young in 2021, correct? So he has two Cy Young winners. And I saw a video where Zach Gallen could be the next Cy Young for the NL. And Joe Ryan was a very good pitcher last year, and he's only going to go up. Dustin May, I think he's a really good pitcher. He has a chance to go off. He's recovering off of Tommy John surgery, if I'm correct. So this is his year to come back. Jack Flaherty was out for most of the year last year because he had an injury, a really bad injury. Um, that's a question mark about that. But his first four starters, insane. Like they're insane. Zach Gallen, Sandy Alcantara, and Corbin Burns. I mean, I am scared. You know, those three guys are amazing. So that's where your hitting would lack. I mean, you got Jose Ramirez, who was the number one player last year. I think, or no, it was Trey Turner, but Jose Ramirez is definitely a top three fantasy guy, and you got him. Damn, where's my iPad? My, my phone. I need to, I need to look and know where y'all drafted. So Juan, you had third pick, and yeah, you got Jose Ramirez. That's a good pick. You got a nice first baseman, a great offensive catcher, um, great shortstop, two shortstops for Xander Bogaerts and Javier Baez. Um, I mean, I don't know how Tyler O'Neill will be. It really depends on how good his hitting is because I think he struggled a lot last year. Yeah, he wasn't able to do much. But if his hitting gets back on spot, he'll be very good. And then I feel like I think Jesse Winker had a bad year last year. Yeah, he didn't do good. And so did Denard. Austin Hayes was pretty good last year. I mean, he can have a decent season. Meneses, I think he could. I mean, it just depends. I don't know. The Washington Nationals are just a very big question mark. Um, I don't know who they'll be playing. I feel like they're gonna be obviously tanking. I don't know if they're gonna be a winning team, but I do like Rosarina. I think he's down for, or he's tasked for a big season. And so, Taylor Ward, I was almost gonna draft him, but I don't know if he can repeat it. I don't even know. This guy's like 32, so I don't know. I don't know if he can repeat what he did last year. I think last year was just a Cinderella season, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Overall, I think your team's really good, and your pitching is probably the best pitching in this league. So I am scared for it. But one, I think one you would probably get an A, an A at least. Like good offense, great players, amazing pitching. Like already, already scary. Like I am scared to play you. Hopefully not for a while. All right, we'll go up to my boy named Lucas. So he auto drafted, I think, the whole league, but he'll be active. That's what he told me. So I'm hoping that he's active. Calvert Ruiz, Nationals. I mean, I don't know what the hell. That's the one team I refuse to really talk about because they're obviously the worst team. And I don't know what the hell they'll be doing with all their players. They might be shuffling players down every day. So I don't know. But you went off with Jordan Alvarez, who is a very good player with pick number 9. And then you went off with Freddie Freeman. I was almost gonna draft Freddie Freeman, but I saw that he was dealing with like a back issue or something. So I didn't draft Freddie Freeman. Then so you're taking the early risk with Fernando Tatis. So he will not be playing until like April something. So you'll probably lose him for a while. But I do notice that you don't have another shortstop. So if you don't pick up another shortstop, you're gonna lose that position. And since he doesn't play until like April 20 something, 22nd or so, I don't remember what day. And then Bader's obviously out for beginning of the season. Um, I don't know what's wrong with him. I guess he has, oh my God, oblique. Obliques have been the biggest issue for so many players this year. I am so scared to have a player that has an oblique issue. So scared. What's wrong with him? I may not play due to toe. May not play oblique. You're like, oh my God, Lucas, you have 3 players that have an oblique issue. What's wrong with you, Brian? Oh, okay. Yeah. So obliques for baseball, fantasy baseball is very, very serious because they're gonna sit easily. They're gonna sit. They're not gonna deal with that. So Lucas, I think you have a really balanced team. I think this is that you need depth because you're not gonna have Tatis, you're not gonna have Bader, and some of these guys I feel like aren't as solid as players this year as they were last year. So I feel like you're gonna need like a lot of help. And I've been offering you trades to help you out with my depth because my depth I feel like is very good. They're gonna be very good this year in the fantasy season, and I feel like you could use some help. So I'm trying to hit you up, man. Like Jose Siri, Avisel Garcia, Randall Grichuk. I don't know about him. Seth Brown, Justin Turner. He could have a good year. It just depends if he's healthy or not. Boston is very hitter friendly ballpark, but you just gotta see. Oscar Gonzalez is gonna have a good year this year. I believe he can be really good. TJ Cohen, even though he's playing in Chicago or in Colorado, it really depends on if he can hit the ball. Um, Obviously, he had a really big offensive season last year, so he can keep that up. That's all that matters in fantasy. Josh Rojas, I don't know how good he like really was. I don't know if he'll be that good. Max Muncy needs to have a good bounce back season because he was struggling a lot. He was really bad. 91 out of 464. That's like less than 200 or almost. It's like less than 230, I think. 91. Yeah, it's 196. That guy was batting less than 200. I was right the first time. Like that's horrible. So I mean, it really depends on if your players have either they keep up with their season or they have bounce back seasons. Jonathan India is another guy. Another. I think that's like around 200. I remember he had a really bad year last year when he had a rookie of the year in 2021, if I'm correct. Um, but your pitching is very solid. I really like your pitching a lot. Spencer Strider, he could have a down year, he could have a good year. I mean, he was really good last year. I feel like he'll have an even better year here this year. So I would look forward to him having a good season. Shane Bieber, obviously, Shane Bieber. Luis Castillo is really, really good. Joe Musgrove got paid last year, so it's always a question mark on how they perform after they get paid. And I mean, we will find out. Tyler Glasnow is recovering from Tommy John surgery. He pitched a little bit last year, I think, but I mean, he is so injury prone. He's just as injury prone as Mike Trout. Like it's so like it's questionable. Nestor Cortez, even though I'm a Yankees fan, I've always thought of like Nestor Cortez as the pitcher who is just getting lucky with how he pitches. And he kind of proved me wrong last year because he was an all-star and he was pretty good. Um, in the playoffs, I feel like that kind of like exposed him because I think against Cleveland he didn't do so well. I think he got like to like the fourth inning or something, and then he started struggling with a hamstring. And he's still struggling with that hamstring, but he's supposedly healthy now. But in his first start against Toronto, he got knocked up with like 5 runs. So I don't know if Cortez might pitch the way he was last year, but I mean, I hope I'm wrong because the Yankees need him. But yeah, you have a really good pitching. Overall, you have a really good pitching stuff. I think pitching is not your problem at all. I think some people have pitching problems. Pitching is not your problem. I think you just need more depth. But I don't think it's a bad team. Lucas, I think I'll give you a B minus. I feel like Jack's team is a little bit more better, even though he doesn't have pitching. Just the offense just really like excels a lot. All right, Coupon the movie. So this guy was in the league last year. He, I mean, he's apparently been doing fantasy baseball for a very long time. Um, but he had a really bad year last year. That's why he was platinum, and then he went down to silver. So, like, look at that. That record is crazy. That's sweaty. That's basically sweaty right there. Um, Overall, I feel like he has like a very like I feel like he was drafting like a dynasty team. He got Ronald Acuna with his first pick, and then I think he got. Let me see his draft process. Let me think who he was doing. Let me see what he was doing. He drafted fifth. He got Acuna, and then he got Devers, and then he went to pitching in the third round. Was he the first pitcher? I know Isaac got Garrett Cole. Yeah, Garrett Cole was the first pitcher to go, and then I guess it was McClanahan. So I was kind of shocked on that. But um, yeah, his team is. I mean, Eloy Jimenez can never stay healthy. Miguel Vargas just got back from an injury. CJ Abrams, Nationals player. Devers, solid player. Jimenez had a really good year last year. Who knows if he can repeat it. Nathaniel Lowe is always a very good first baseman, especially in fantasy. So that was a good pick for him. He got him in the eighth round. Real Muto is probably one of the best. He's probably the best catcher in the MLB currently. And getting him in the fourth round was a very good, excellent pick. Catcher position, I feel like, is underrated. Like you need a good player on that position because there's not too many good catchers out there for fantasy. He got Jared Kalinick. I don't think he's that good, and I don't think he'll do well in fantasy. Nick Castellanos obviously needs to have like a better bounce back season than he did last year because he was so bad last year. Martinez, he's aging, but I mean he hits home runs, so he didn't hit too many last year. So is he bound for a bounce back here? Maybe. Verdugo, I feel like didn't have a good I think Verdugo didn't really have like a good fantasy year in my opinion last year because um I think he really underperformed. And that might be because of the value I got him at. He got him in the 12th round. I think I picked Verdugo in like the third or fourth round. I thought he would go off. And he like well, he underperformed. But he got him at a discount price. He has that many points because he played almost every game last year. So he's very like he's consistent. So he has very young players. Obviously, he just lost Beatty. He has Volpe. Volpe, I feel like I want him so bad, man. I feel like he's bound for a big season. So for like for him, it's really just of injuries because he just lost Severino. Um, and I guess all these guys. And I mean, yeah. So he doesn't have Severino, so his pitching stuff's a little weak. But Urias, McClanahan, and I feel like Luzardo can be a very good first three, and then get Severino back. He's good, but I don't know about him being like stat. I feel like he. Oh my goodness, how do you spell his name? Kevlis. Kevlis. Like Kellvis is gonna have some holes in his team, so I'm gonna give him like a C. I think a C is appropriate grade for his team. My boy Kyrin. So I met Kyrin in the basketball league. He was one of those guys where I was like, okay, I don't know how active you'll be in the baseball league, but I mean, as long as you know what you're doing, you're at least somewhat active. I'll be fine with that. So he had the seventh pick, and he drafted Manny Machado, who personally was supposed to be. I really wanted him with my first pick because I feel like Machado would have gone off if he had never gotten that new contract. I would have drafted Machado or do what I can to get Machado on my team because if he never got that contract, he's going off. He's gonna be almost like an Aaron Judge season almost. Just not with all the home runs. Um Obviously got that new contract, so I feel like I'm more at ease with not having Machado on my team, but I do really like Machado in fantasy. I think like at a point in time for almost a month, he was the number one fantasy player, and he got him number seven. So that was a good pick on Kyron for the first pick. And then he went with Kyle Schwarber, who I feel like was probably too early. I think there's better players out there. Like I would have gone Mike Trout, Austin Riley, um, Bobby Witt Jr., Nolan Arenado, Francisco Lindor. Um, yeah, so I feel like Kyle Schwarber was a reach. I mean, but I don't even know. I guess the Phillies need him now more than ever after just losing Hoskins, so that's tough. Oh wait, he has Hoskins, so yeah, that's tough for him, man. I mean, what can you do about it? The resurgence of Cody Bellinger is the really big question mark for Kyron because I feel like Luis Robert doesn't play the whole season. Ramon Liriano doesn't play the whole season. He just lost Morale, who was a big part of his team. I feel like with this shortstop because he doesn't have another shortstop. He's not a shortstop. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa is not a damn shortstop. Come on now, quit playing with me. Um, his pitching is very good. I feel like pitching is very underrated. Morton's all right. He pitches. That's all that matters with Morton. Robbie Ray, I think, had a really big down year last year because he was Cy Young in 2021. But I feel like he can come back from it. And Gosman was really good last year, fantasy wise. Rodon is already hurt. And Otani, obviously, Otani is Otani. Um, Overall, I feel like he's really set. I mean, I think these guys who don't really know baseball or like don't do fantasy baseball did a pretty damn good job. Um, Obviously, he doesn't have first baseman anymore, and he doesn't have a shortstop. So that's really going to be a big question. Obviously, he has backups, but I mean, he's not going to have them at all this season. So I think I'll give Kyron. I mean, I can't really take into losing Reese Hoskins because it was after the draft. I mean, obviously, if it was before the draft, he would have had him. Um, I'll probably give Kyron like a C plus. I feel like there's some holes, and I mean, he could easily improve him. But yeah, he doesn't have to release him. I feel like he'll be brought up sometime this season. I feel like he got sent down because there's Dansby, there's Nico Horner, and I think there's a couple other role players that the Cubs have. And Morale probably struggled during the spring, so that's probably why they sent them down. Let's see. Wait, why did they send them down? What the hell? He was hitting 269. 1450, I guess 1452 isn't what they were expecting, especially with a Dansby Swanson who's been struggling and Nico Horner who's been kind of hurt. And he just lost Brandon Rogers. Oh shit, I'm losing. I'm missing some things. Yeah. So yeah, Kyron's definitely missing. Like I don't know. And you don't even know about this guy. Like Ace players are so like inconsistent and they don't play good at all sometimes. So I feel like C plus. Yeah, C plus is a fair grade for Kyrin. All right, let's go to my boy Noah. We met over a Discord server for fantasy people, and he's clear to be a Blue Jays fan as he has one, two. I know he wants um George Springer. Wait, where's oh three? There's Alec. I was like, where's Alec Manoa? And then there is so three Blue Jays players. So as you can tell, he is a Blue Jays fan. Um, so there's some question marks for this team as well. Um, you don't know how good Gunnar Henderson could be, even though 30 out of 16, that is actually pretty solid. Getting 30 hits in your first 100 at bats, 258. That's a good average to have throughout the whole season. Is 258. Brandon Lowe, he was out for most of the season last year, if I'm correct. So that's why he was only able to get like not much, not many at bats. But obviously, he didn't do so well when he did play. Michael Harris, the second, he was pretty damn good last year. I think he was rookie of the year, if I'm correct. Um, Masaki Yoshida had a really good WBC, so I feel like Boston is the perfect part for him because Boston's right field is so short, and a lefty would just feast on that. I think he's a lefty. Is he a lefty? I cannot remember. He bats left, yeah. Yeah, he's a lefty. So that is a big W for him. I feel like he'll go off. Malcolm Cole didn't play at all last year because no team wanted him, and he had like a big like question mark with injury, so he didn't want to play last year. Bryson Stott, obviously, Gene Segura is gone, so Bryson Stott will probably be second baseman. But as a rookie, I feel like it's always a question mark with your sophomore season. I think it's his sophomore season. And Nick Gordon, I think, is a good role player. He plays a lot of different positions. He's very good fantasy wise. So I mean, like he was really trying to switch with his pitchers. He went all out with pitchers. But DeGrom, man, you never know with him. He just lost Grayson Rodriguez. Pablo Lopez is an opening day starter, I think. Castillo's the opening day starter, and this is Nolo's opening day starter. Okay. And DeGrom's the opening day starter. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think pitching wise, he's a really good pitching squad. I mean, he's got Manoa too. So I mean, yeah, I think Colors, man, McCullers is so questionable because he cannot stay healthy to live like a life with him, like a life with him at all. Wesneski is so underrated. I feel like he could have a big year. Um, I feel like yeah, so he's a starter. When the Yankees traded him, I was kind of like, I was like, damn, like he's a good pitcher. I know, like I remember watching him in the minors, like he's a good pitcher. And then he came up with his debut last year after we traded him for who did the Yankees trade? I know his name. I can't remember the sidearm guy. Now he has Tommy John and he will pitch for us this year. Uh, yeah, he went off last year, and then I had rotation spot. Um, I think he picked Guerrero and then Bichette, if I'm correct. Yeah, Guerrero and Bichette. Those are two solid fantasy guys. I mean, Guerrero's supposed to have a big year this year according to Yahoo writers. So I mean, it's only a matter of time to see if Yahoo writers are clowns or they're geniuses. I think Guerrero could have a better season than he did last year because I mean, I think he fell off last year, if I'm correct, compared to his 2021 season where he went off. But I mean, overall, he's had a good season. It's just I think it was very underwhelming for some people. Wilson Contreras is I feel like one of those like top five uh catchers in MLB, and I almost got him, but I got his brother instead because he picked him in front of me. Wilson Contreras is a very good offensive catcher, so I feel like it helped him out a lot. I feel like the best thing for you going right now is your pitching staff. I think it's a little bit better than your hitting. Because Stan, I mean, Stan, I mean, he cannot stay healthy. Or if he does stay healthy, there's something bothering him and he still plays. It's just a big thing with Stan. Like, he's good at some parts and he just fucking sucks so bad. He can't hit the ball at all. And it comes out in certain parts of the season. So, and him playing the outfield. I mean, if he plays the outfield, it's a good sign because that means he's healthy. That's what you want. But I really think uh you have a lot of role players and you have a lot of injury riddled players. So Bichette and Guerrero need to stay healthy for you because um that's your heart and soul on your team. And your pitching, obviously DeGrom is the most injury riddled pitcher ever. Um, it doesn't I mean who knows how healthy he'll be, so but I think I'll give you like a let's see, let me think what I should give you. I definitely not A. I think no man, I'm gonna be honest. I think you get a C plus. I think your team is just as questionable up there with Kyrin. And you know, if they prove me wrong, they prove me wrong. But I think C plus overall is what you would get, honestly. All right. Nicholas, you're next. All right. So you had, I think, the 10th pick, if I'm correct. You took Soto and then you took Alonso. Pete Alonso is very good. I think Pete Alonso is probably one of the best baseball for fantasy base first baseman players. Um, he hits home runs, he gets on base, and he gets RBIs, and that's what you want. Um, Ozzy Albies, I think he went down early last year, if I'm correct. Now he's coming back. I think he's recovering from some injury. I can't remember. I think it's a 20 ACL. Um, and you got a good offensive catcher with Alejandro Kirk. It just depends on if he can keep it up because Blue Jay players, they are good one season and they fall off the next. So, you never know. Uh, Key Brian Hayes, he had a really underwhelming season. O'Neal Cruz, I feel like he could have a really big season this year. It just depends on if he can hit the ball and I guess, stay healthy. Um, Byron Buxton is also one of the most injury riddled players, along with like with Mike Trout. He's very, very good. I mean, Buxton's healthy, and you know, it's I say that a lot. For him, it's really hard to stay healthy. So, um, but he's a very good player. I think you got him in a good round. I can't remember where he got him. At the eighth round. That's good value for Byron Buxton, especially for how dominant he was when he plays, or how he is when he plays. Soto is already dealing with an oblique injury. And when I say oblique injuries are really, really crucial, they're crucial as hell. So if he can get past that oblique injury, he'll be a very good player, especially with the shift ban. I think Juan Soto is one of those players that can really benefit from the shift ban. So he's due for a good big year. And if he plays, he plays, Gene Segura I think he was injured last year too, I guess. That's why his fantasy points were so low. Um, I think a new spot for Gene Segura. I don't know. I mean, Miami needed offense, and once you get paid and you go to a shitty team, you're not gonna play too well. So I'm hoping Gene Segura could still have a good season. Last year, obviously, I think was a really bad season, but the season before was really good. So if Segura can bounce back, or he just stays how he was last year, can't do much about that. So you also have a lot of young players. He's a backup last year. Quan's a very good fantasy player. Okay, I drafted Quan and I traded him to you. So yeah, he's a good player. He's a good, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. Easily. Luis Garcia, I feel like, I mean, Nationals player, but I feel like he's one of the guys that will play most definitely. It just depends between him, CJ Abrams, and who else did they have? I can't remember. Jordan Walker did make the opening day lineup. Um, I'm not sure he'll play the first day. It just depends. So you have a lot of young players who have a lot of upside, but it really just depends on if they can perform. Austin Meadows Austin Meadows was hurt last year. He didn't play a lot. He might get traded, honestly, because Detroit is really bad and they're known for flipping players that they get. So, Yanni Diaz, good player. He's a good role player. I mean, he'll probably get you some good points sometimes. Your pitching is pretty. I think it's decent. I feel like it's not the top, the like most dominant. Brandon Woodruff, Yu Darvish, that's a really good one too. And then Clayton Kershaw, I feel like at some point he's gonna have a down year. At some point he's gonna have. He's getting older. He's not gonna be throwing as much because they're gonna be really, really careful with him because of how old he's getting. That's just how the Dodgers are. Um, and then Lucas Giolito. I mean, if he can have that one, I can't remember what season he had when he had like almost a Cy Young season. If he can pitch well, and stay healthy, I think he's one of the injury riddle guys, and so is Chris Sale. So if you're gonna stay healthy, it'll be a good season. Martin Perez, if you have a good season like he did last year, I think he'll be pretty good. Drew Rasmussen, I think he's a really good starter. I think he'll have an even better year this year. Like we're flipping him. Like it's just me and you flipping him because I traded for him and then you traded back for him. So overall, I really think your draft is just like you have a lot of upside, but it just I mean I don't know. I probably put you along with you know Kyrin and Noah. C plus is I think a valid position for you. Okay, so now it's Captain, my captain. That is indeed me. Okay, what the hell's going on here? Oh, so I had the 11th pick last year, if I'm correct. Yes. And I took Goldschmidt as like my third option. I wanted two other guys, but I think I'd take him. And then I took Otani. I think Otani is really good. I feel like, man, it really sucks because if Otani had the pitcher and hitting position, obviously it'd be first, but I think Otani is bound for even better season. I'm hoping. I'm hoping. Then I took Bryce Harper third round. Man, if I know it doesn't seem like a good pick, but Bryce Harper was MVP a couple seasons ago. If he comes back and hits like an MVP, I mean, he was still hitting even in the playoffs with an injured UCL. You know, he was still dominating. I mean, he was hitting the hell out of that ball in the playoffs. I feel like he comes back with some recovery time as fast as he can. He'll have a rough first month, but by the time it's playoff time, he'll have a really good season. Dylan Cease was my first pitcher. My pitching squad, I feel like I had to improve it a little bit. I had to acquire Aaron Noah for Quan. I'm trying to improve it a little bit more, but I feel like overall, hold on, yeah. I think overall, I feel like it's gone a little bit better. I'm not gonna include Aaron Nolan in the in my draft process, but yeah. Then getting Dansby, who had a really big year last year, but got paid, and Dansby's one of those guys who are probably gonna take a big tumble. But getting him in the fifth round, I guess, could be, I don't know, it could be a big question. But I think I really bounced back with getting Carroll, Edmund, and Franco. Those guys, I mean, Franco had a really bad injury season last year, but he was really, really dominant when he played. Like he was like top 10 in fantasy last year when he played. So I need that Franco back. Edmund is a really good contact hitter. He gets on base and he hits. Corbin Carroll, I think, is due for a really, really big season. I'm really glad I drafted him mid round, make up for Harper. I feel like there's big things to come from Corbin Carroll. Even with a bad Arizona team, Corbin Carroll will still play. I hope he stays healthy, along with Riley Green. I think it's another guy. And Hunter Renfro is another one of those guys. And Eugenio Suarez, who are just guys who hit home runs, get RBIs, so they get fantasy points. I think my pitching staff is pretty damn good. Aaron Nola. Okay, hold on. Dylan Cease, Logan Gilbert, and Hunter Green. I think those top three guys are pretty damn good. Um, I think they're a lot better than some three guys, the other guys, except for Juan. I don't think Juan's three compares to anyone else's three. So, but I feel like my three can keep up with a lot of other people's three. And then of course acquiring Aaron Nola, and hopefully Kyle Gibson bounces back along with Kyle Contrell and Sonny Gray, who I hope Kyle Contrell I hope have the same season last year. Getting him so late. Wait, did he even draft him? Yeah, he named him 23rd round. I'm hoping for some like late and guys, hopefully he could be a little like sneaky guy. He had a really good season. 15-5 with 128 strikeouts, 186 86.1 pitches or innings pitched. It's pretty damn good. Um, he's just more of like a quality guy. Like he throws quality pitches. It doesn't always lead to strikeout, but it's like he gets outs basically. But I think my pitching staff is pretty damn good, even with like not as strong as Juan. I think it would keep up with Juan. It just depends on how good those guys do after their dominant season. But I think my bench part with Crawford, Profar, Walsh, Moncada. If they stay healthy, obviously Walsh is already gone. But I feel like Crawford was so underrated last year. When he played in the beginning part of the season, he was number one, if I'm correct. And then he got hurt and then just stopped hitting altogether. So I'm hoping he can stay healthy and go back to the part where I need him the most and have him hitting. Um, and getting him last pick was unbelievable. I can't believe y'all left him open like that. If JP Crawford can come back healthy and hit the ball like he did last year in the beginning part of the season, it's over. I mean, he was really good. He hit 126 hits. Man, that's a lot. Damn. But yeah, I guess let's check that average real quick. 26, oh, 518. 243. Yeah. But he was hitting at like almost 300 in the beginning of the season before he got hurt. So I mean, if he stays healthy, he stays healthy. Well, I think my team's kind of like a sleeper team. Like it's low key good. It's sneaky good. And William Contreras was an all-star last year. He's one of the best. I don't know if he'd be catching, but Brewers don't have any other catchers, so I think he will be catching. Um, I'm hoping he has a repeat of what he did last year because hitting 20 home runs as a catcher is insane. I need that, and I got that late. I feel like my team probably my offense isn't as good as Jack's. My pitching isn't as good as Juan. I think Jack has the best offense. Juan has the best pitching. I think I'm second in both of those categories, or maybe third. I feel like Dylan had a really good offense. I think Kyrin had a really good pitching staff. Did he have a good pitching staff? I can't remember. And then, like, oh, man, I need to remember y'all's teams. Yeah, I mean, Kyrin had a good pitching staff, but I don't know. I mean, it just depends. I think, I think A minus is a good draft. Okay, good draft grade. All right, now we're off to my boy Brad. So Brad, I feel like he had a good draft besides drafting Josh Jung in like the fourth round. Let me check. Let me check his draft. Let me check his draft. Brad had the eighth pick, so he drafted a little later. Like I said, psychological draft. He has the eighth pick, so he's drafting later. Um, Kyle Tucker was a really good pick. I feel like he's a really good offensive player. I'll get points on. Getting Tim Anderson in the fifth round. He didn't play too much last year, but I think he was hurt. But he's a very good contact hitter. He gets on base. So, I mean, you'll need that. Rizzo obviously had one of the best offensive first baseman seasons. He started falling off. So if he doesn't fall off like he did last year and this stays up and just, gets on base and hits home runs, he'll be very good. Kyle Wright actually just got placed on the 15-day IL. So you just lost Kyle Wright. Um, Vaughn Grissom, I don't know why they sent him down. He must have struggled or something, but he was due for like a big year this year. And he went 371. Like, why they send him down? Oh, yeah. See, okay. It seems like they sent him down just for him to work on his defense because they don't think he's mastered that yet. So they're gonna give him like probably a month. So he'll be back up in like within like maybe uh May or June. Um, if not, then I don't know what's going on with the Braves organization. Will Smith is one of those catchers. I mean, he's top five easily. I would say it's Realmuto, Contreras, Smith, um, the other Contreras. I think he's up there too, and then Rutschman. Rutschman's easily one of. I mean, he's up for a big year too. But I do really like your pitching staff. Christian Javier is, oh my God. I bet he'll get Cy Young this year. I bet he will. He is so good. Oh my God. I hate like how good he is. 11-9 is crazy though, but I think he'll have a good year this year. Tony Gonzalez. I think he's expected to be on the IL as well. Yeah, he's supposed to miss the first few weeks of the season. Um, he was really good last year, like really, really good last year. It just depends, I guess, on his health now. But he got on at 17th round. That's good value. So yeah, good on you for that. Noah Syndergaard. Okay, how you didn't even draft? I drafted Noah Syndergaard, I think. Carlos Carrasco. I feel like it just depends on if he can keep up. I don't know. I feel like he's due for a down year. He's getting old. I mean, I don't know. John Birdie. He's just like that role player guy. I don't think he does much on offense. I think he's there for like stolen bases and like defense. Like that's really what like. It's really hard for him to get on base. Like look at that average, bro. 86 out of 358. That's ridiculous. That's horrible. That's that's definitely less than 200. Let me check on that. Let me check on that. Definitely less than 286 divided by 358. Oh, it's 240? What? I guess it's because he got like such a small like at bat, but I don't know. I think it's not as good as what he should be getting. Vinny Pasquantino. Um, I think he's gonna have a big year. He was brought up late in the season and he hit the ball pretty damn good. So I think he's up for a big year. Corey Seager obviously had a really good year last year. I drafted him last year and he went off. Um, I really do think that drafting him in a third round or second round to some people might be like too early, but I think third round would have been better. But you got Adolis Garcia in the third round, which is interesting. I know Adolis did good. Never mind. I'm tripping. Adolis Garcia is a really good player. I remember he's really good. And he stays healthy. That's what you want. But Josh Jung fourth round's crazy. Obviously you told me that you didn't mean to do that. Christian Yelich, I feel like that's kind of sad that you got him in the 10th round. He was so good a couple years ago and he fell off, but he's still so good. I don't know what's going on. He's getting his hitting back. 145 out of 575. That's like 220s or 250s. Wow, I'm off my math. 252. Okay. I guess it's because he didn't hit as many home runs last year or RBIs. But your outfield's pretty damn solid. You got a good shortstop. Obviously, he plays. So, like your first baseman, got a good catcher, and I like your draft class. I really feel like Brad, you get a B plus. Excuse me. All right, two more teams. Two more teams. We're almost done. Almost done. All right, Isaac, you're up next. So you had the first pick or the second pick, and you drafted Aaron Judge. I don't blame you on that. Aaron Judge is probably he was definitely the best player last year. Um, I feel like it won't be he won't be as good with 62 home runs this year. Obviously Aaron Judge had something to prove last year. Um, you know, the Yankees needed a Judge. So I don't know if he'll get exactly 3,000. I don't think anyone will get 3,000, obviously. I mean, Judge played pretty much every day, except for like maybe 10 games. Um, I really don't think Judge will keep it up, but I think it was a really good first pick for you. Aaron Judge is, I mean, he was just dominant. I mean, someone had to get him early. I was surprised he wasn't first pick, honestly, but Trey Turner, he does have that first pick upside, but you never know. Jose Altuve, you just lost him, but that was a good, I guess, second round pick, you know. Um, Bobby, yeah, but I don't know. I feel like Nolan Arenado and Bobby Wood Jr. are better than Altuve, sorry, Jose Altuve in fantasy. Well, that's a good pick. Then you got Luis Urias and DJ LeMahieu. Those two players are like literally the same players. Like they just get on base and they get on base a lot. DJ LeMahieu obviously had a down year last year to a lot of people. He was hurt, but I mean he could have a big bounce back season. And you got those guys back to back too. Damn. 12 and 13. So you got Gavin Lux. So you got stuck with him early too. Yeah, if you didn't, yeah, that's tough. Jose Trevino, I mean, he didn't draft him, but I mean, who knows if he can have a season like he did last year? I mean, I don't know. It's a big question mark. Willie Adames and Carlos Correa, your shortstops are very good. So overall, I think it's a starting shortstop, especially if they just lost Brendan Rodgers. So you got three good shortstops. I personally would like Carlos Correa, and you got him in a good round too. He was drafted so late because he's hurt a lot. So he stays healthy, he's good. Let's get your pitching. Garrett Cole, Max Scherzer, Blake Snell, Jordan Montgomery, Jeffrey Springs. Freddie Peralta's pretty good too. I think he didn't play that much last year. That's why. But I think your pitching staff's really good. You're hitting. You just have a lot of power hitters. It's like power heavy, and then you got balance out some contact. Um, Sergio Mullins is one of those. I mean, he's obviously the best O's player, but obviously that might change this year because of how young they are. So Mullins is pretty good though, still. Naylor, man, he was that good last year. That's crazy. 20 home runs. Soler fell off a whole bunch. But I also think it's because of him not playing that much. 270, 207, yeah. So Soler is kind of like Nelson Cruz now, where, I guess he's gonna be like Nelson Cruz, really. He's just batting the bat and he's hitting home runs for it. PK Hernandez, I think he'll have a good season this year. Red Sox need him after losing Bogarts, and they need some flexibility. Um, Overall, I feel like your team's not bad. I think your offense, you have a really balanced team. I think your pitching and your hitting are just really good. And I believe Garrett Cole is the best fantasy pitcher because he pitches pretty much every start and he gets you fantasy points. So, Cole, good on you for that. Isaac, I think you deserve I'll probably say an A minus on that. I don't know if I've seen the perfect team. I mean, I don't know. Have I seen the perfect team? Oh man, yeah, I would have definitely given Juan A plus if he didn't have these players right here. I feel like these guys are just gonna. I don't know. Joey Gallo may have a bounce back season, but I don't know. I don't like Jesse Winker. Travis Denard kind of fell off. I mean, I don't know. I guess they got rid of William Contreras last year or this beginning of the year for Denard to play more. So I guess. Oh, but they got Sean Murphy too. So now they're splitting. If he DHs maybe, but I don't know. I don't know. I would have given Juan an A plus if he didn't have those bottom players. See, I don't think I've seen like the perfect team, but his pitching is really fucking good, guys. Like, I don't think you understand. These three guys are gonna be deadly. Four. And if Flaherty can go back to where he was that one season, he'll be good as hell. All right, last team. We got Marcus. I was looking a lot at Marcus's team because I was looking a lot at everyone's team after draft and like over the weeks. Um, I really like his team a lot. I think he's one of the best offenses. I think Rutschman, Bell, Marte. Oh, Ketel Marte. He's so like, oh my gosh, yeah. Riley, Lindor, Benya, Hap, Rodriguez, Peterson could be good. Um, and yeah, yeah, I mean those players I just named are very, very good offensive players. And he's got Verlander, Valdez, McKenzie. I don't know much about Senga. Who knows? And Nicolas, man, I want Nicolas so bad. He was so good last year for me, but he's up in age, but who knows? Um, he's a really good offense. It's up there with me and Jack's team on offense. But I think his offense is better than mine. So, um, yeah, I think he really did good. I wouldn't say it's A plus. I would definitely say it's A, but his team is very good. A lot of hitters that can hit. Um, Anthony Rendon has yet to be healthy ever since 2019. So it really depends on him. But if he's back to the way that the Angels want him to be, this team could be very, very good. Trent Grissom, I don't know about Trent Grissom. He was bad last year, right? 83 out of 451. That's crazy. 184. It's horrible. But yeah, I mean, these guys and your catcher, I feel like Adley Rutschman can easily hit like 25 home runs with like a 270 batting average. Like he can be amazing. So, and then Pena, obviously, he was good last year. You could probably keep it up. Rodriguez, you got like your first pick, and then you got Lindor and Riley, if I'm correct. I think you did really good in the first. Let's check. Let's see. I'm gonna see how many rounds you did, like on fire rounds. Yeah, I think you did really good in the first 8 rounds. I think you did really good because getting Verlander, Valdez, McKenzie, and then you get in Pena, and you got Rutschman, so you're good on catcher, and you're good on shortstop, you're on third, you're on center. Riley was one of those players who was really dominant last year too at one point. And then he kind of cooled off a little bit, but he was still really good. But yeah, overall, I think this team's really good as like good as fuck, good as fuck. But Marcus, I think you did good. I don't know who you are, but you got an A, man. Good job. Oh, don't mean to do that. Don't mean to do that. Don't mean to do that. Come on now. All right. That wraps up my drafting. So I will be adding non-active spots soon, 3 to be exact. And thank you so much for joining my league. I look forward to this season. I cannot wait for this season. And um I hope y'all have fun. So I hope y'all watch the whole video if you're important to it, if you're relevant to it. And it was a long one too. Jesus Christ. All right, let's have a good season, guys. Let's go Yankees.